Good morning. We are here at this very early hour to make another step forward in television history, one which we hope will bring us the most distant person-to-person television transmission yet undertaken in the world, a step which should forge a new link between Britain and Australia. Appropriately, it's the Early Bird that has got us up, Early Bird 2, the communication satellite that was launched 4 weeks ago to hover over the Pacific and provide a permanent link with the Antipodes. As you know, it failed by just 11 seconds. Its rocket motor cut out just that much too soon, and as a result, it has been sadly wandering its errant way around the Earth in an elongated orbit, rather like that. But the computers have now got the measure of it. It so happens that this morning it is passing some 24,000 miles high over the Indian Ocean, and you can see about what the position is from this globe here. Here's the satellite. You can see the angle which it subtends so that it is possible to bounce pictures from Australia here, this side of the world, out into space to the satellite and back down to our receiving station over here. For a few minutes, it can be worked this morning simultaneously by our GPO ground station at Goonilly and the Carnarvon station over here in Western Australia. So in a few minutes, we hope it will be in a position to bring us the first ever live pictures from down under. And these pictures are not going to be any pompous travelogue, no great fanfare of trumpets, no pictures of Canberra, the great open spaces of the Australian continent, no exchange of messages between prime ministers. We're going to make this a family occasion, the opportunity to bring together mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, some of whom never expected to see one another again. We are linking families sitting in this London studio with Paddy Feeney, including, as you can see, an extremely new addition, and their relatives who have gone to live in Australia. That's what's going to happen if everything works, and I'll say here and now that we'll be waiting anxiously to see these pictures. There are certain snags. They'll have to travel almost 50,000 miles before they reach us out into space and back. Neither the satellite nor the Australian ground station were designed primarily for television transmission. Much of the equipment, indeed, is there 4 miles outside Carnarvon because of the American Apollo moon flight project and for routine Australian communication operations. Another thing, because of this, the equipment will only transmit pictures on the American standards, and so we have to convert them to be able to see them on our sets. And to cap it all, Carnarvon is here, right out in the corner of northwestern Australia, a site selected purely for communication reasons, so as to cover the vast area of the Indian Ocean. It has neither television of its own, nor any link with the Australian television broadcasting networks. And so, a mobile outside broadcast unit has driven the 600 miles up the coast from Perth to provide us with pictures. Well, now, you can see why I'll be just as interested as you to see what happens next. But in the few moments before we can see what's going to happen, there's just one more thing I should mention. The distance which the pictures are going to travel is so great, it's about 55,000 miles all the way out into space and back, that there is more than a half-second's delay between the moment when something actually happens and the moment when we see it. Now, this isn't very significant when you're just watching, but it's going to seem strange to a man asking his daughter, say, how she is, if she seems to take a long time working out the answer. In fact, it really is quite difficult to hold a conversation at all with this delay in vision. We've taken technical steps to close up a further delay between the picture and the sound, which arises because the sound travels by landline and radio link the other way around the globe. Here you can see it coming from Western Australia, across the Pacific, across the United States, and then across the Atlantic Ocean. It doesn't go up and back into space at all. Well, now, it's just after 6:30 on a winter morning here in London, and I reckon it's on the same time after 2 on a summer Friday afternoon down there in Carnarvon. Any minute now, the first live pictures from Australia will be coming here for BBC television, and waiting, there they are, and waiting down under there for us is Kim Corcoran. So come in, please, Western Australia. Come in, Kim Corcoran. It looks as if you've got a lovely summer afternoon down there in Western Australia.
Hello, Raymond Baxter. Yes, here we are. It's 2:30. Your timing is right. The day is right. I feel like a general about to lead off a small army here, as so many of the townspeople and the younger people have turned out for this special occasion of this live telecast, this first live telecast from Australia. Here they are all around me. Now, Raymond Baxter, before we do a crossover to meet the British families who are waiting rather impatiently, I think, not far away from me, we'd like to give you some idea of this part of Australia where they've come to live. On one side of us, we have the Indian Ocean. On the other side of Carnarvon, we have the whole of Australia. In fact, Sydney on the eastern coast is, I think, further away from here than Moscow is from London. And in fact, if a housewife wants to go shopping from here, the nearest town along a deserted coastline is some 300 miles away, which I think is as far as Land's End is from London. But you may know of this place because of the nearby tracking station, but to many people it has many other meanings, as we hear now from Peter Pockley.
From the air, the country around Carnarvon looks totally bare and desolate. But once you get to the town itself, you find it's a thriving, prosperous community. The population here has doubled in the last 10 years. And the man who's most likely to know the reason why is the Mayor of Carnarvon, became Mayor at the age of 27, Wilson Tuckey.
Thank you, Peter. People make Carnarvon, and we're a pretty varied lot. Out at the tracking station, we find Australians, Americans and Englishmen all working together and making a very fine job of it. On the Gascoyne River, we have 200 plantation properties producing vegetables and bananas, and here again we find Europeans and Australians, Orientals all working together. Our business community has all these types in it also, and they've learned that the people need not so much capital as they need a lot of enthusiasm to get to the point.
Thank you, Wilson Tuckey. Well, we have some of the commerce of Carnarvon trundling through the town itself at the moment, but the main thing which has kept Carnarvon going for the past 90 years has been the richness coming from the wool trade. The trucks which carry the wool now replace camels of the 50 years ago period. And these trucks, they carry wool worth £7,000 sterling. And one such property, a sheep station, is Bulathana Station, which is run by Clary Lewington.
Bulathana Station is a holding of 564 square miles, the size of the county of Carnarvonshire in Wales. We run 25,000 sheep on this property, and our average rainfall is only 9 inches per year. In the last 15 or 16 months, we have had only 1 3/4 inches of rain, and this is drought conditions. And as stock are very poor, we're in quite a bit of distress at the moment. And the outback is hot and humid and so on, and with the modern aeroplanes and telephones, the distances are not so great.
Thank you, Clary Lewington. Now it's back to Kim Corcoran.
And here we are, waiting with some of the British families who live here to talk with their relatives in London. On my left here is Mr. and Mrs. Vinton, and here is Mr. and Mrs. Gillum, Alan and Jean, and Mr. and Mrs. Brightwell over on my right. Paddy Feeney, do you hear me? And who would you like to hear from first?
Yes, I'm hearing you very loud and clear there, Kim. And first of all, if it's all right with you, I'd like to talk to Frank Vinton and also Pauline, because Frank's father, brother, sister-in-law, mother-in-law and father-in-law have come through some very cold streets here in London early this morning in order to have a word with him. And first of all, Frank's father would like to say hello.
Hello, Frank. Pauline.
Hello, Dad.
How are you?
Hello, Dad.
Hi there, Dad.
Incidentally, there is a point here, isn't there, Mr. Vinton? I believe that your wife can't be here. Perhaps you better explain that too, Frank.
I'm sorry your mum can't be here, Frank. She has tonsillitis, very bad.
Oh.
I'm sorry to hear it.
Give her a big kiss from me, Dad.
Righto, I will.
Mrs. Chilvers, would you like to talk to your daughter Pauline?
Hello, Pauline. Hello, Frank.
Okay, now, I think Pauline, Mrs. Chilvers, is simply dying to show you the new edition, which, of course, you haven't seen. Now,
Yes,
Cameron,
I'm longing to see
I
it.
think okay to see it. This is little Ian, I think. Introduce him.
Hello, Ian.
He says hello, Ian.
Can you see him, Mum?
Yes, I can see him. Isn't he beautiful?
I
can
tell
see
you
him.
what, he's like Frank. He'll have to go back and look for his legs.
There he is, the new addition to the Benton family, young Ian.
How old is Ian, incidentally, Pauline?
Pardon?
How old is Ian?
He's 4 months old.
Do you find that
4
bringing
months old.
4 months. Do you find that bringing him up in Australia is any different from the way that you were brought up in this country?
Yes, vastly different.
In what way?
Oh, I've had to learn again. Especially with the heat, you have to be very careful with them here, which you never suffered very much with in England.
Mm.
More or less it's the same otherwise.
I'd like to know also, while we're talking to the Vintons, Kim, if it's all right with you, exactly what Frank does for a living there.
Frank works at the nearby tracking station at Carnarvon, which, as I said earlier, is one of the reasons why this name is so well known. I'll put him on in just a second to say a few words about that and the tracking station here. Incidentally, you were talking about a cold morning here. Well, it's getting hotter and hotter as we stand here, and it's well over, it's in the high 70s Fahrenheit here. So as you can see, it is quite warm, so we don't envy you with the cold over there. Now I'll ask Frank just to tell you a little bit about his work.
Well, out at the tracking station, we're getting all ready for the man in the moon shot. We've been doing a number of tests, and things seem to be going fairly well. We hope that when the three-man capsule does get off, that it'll go as well as the last Gemini series.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Frank Vinton, and also Pauline Vinton. Love, obviously, to Susan, Joanne, and Ian. And perhaps, Kim, we could pass on now to the Gillam family, if we've got them lined up there, because here in London, we've got Mr. Gillam, and also Mrs. Winnie Gillam, and Mrs. Joan McCall. And Joan has brought with her to the studio a little child that you perhaps would like to introduce. Joan.
Hello there, Jean.
Hello, Joan. It's lovely to hear you. It really is.
Good. I brought Joanne to see you.
I'm sorry, we didn't just get that again. Could you repeat that?
I brought Joanne to see you.
Brought your aunt to see you. Say hello.
Oh, hello, Aunty. I don't know which one it is.
That's Joan McCall talking this end at the moment. We're not seeing you very well, but we can hear you still, fortunately. And Joan has brought Joanne, who is 9 weeks old and is sitting on her mother's knee here, fast asleep, bless her. Now, Mr. Gillam, have you got anything that you want to ask your son, Alan?
I'd like to know how he's getting on.
Mm. Did you hear that, Alan?
Hello, Dad. How are you going on?
Hey.
I hope you're well. How do you like the boys? Do you think Andrew's grown a bit?
Well, at the moment, Alan, just a word of explanation here. Unfortunately, we've lost pictures for the moment from Carnarvon, but we're going to go on in sound, so we're just treated as a straight sound interview. And we can't see the boys, but we'd love to know how they are getting on, because your father just said how they're all getting on.
Oh, the boys are getting on very well. They're doing exceedingly well at school, and they're pretty good. I wonder if Stephen would like to say hello to Grandma and Grandpa.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, Steve. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Grandma. It's nice weather here, except for the sun, which is awfully hot.
Is it?
It's a change here.
It's awfully cold here, Steve.
Has there been any news in the Gillam family from this end since you last wrote to each other? Anything that you feel they ought to know in Australia?
Well, we're bang up to date, actually.
We can see you now, Jean.
Yes. Did you get our last...
Back on
Oh,
picture,
sorry.
hello all over again.
Oh, hello, Joan, once
Oh, it
again.
is.
Well, here we are in Carnarvon. It's, well, quite hot by our standards, and, well, we're all getting sunburned. And I really don't know what to say.
Well, don't worry, Miss...
Stephen and Andrew now, too.
Andrew?
Oh, yes, I can see Steve. Do you think Andrew's grown? I think he has.
Oh, yes.
Stephen.
And we'll have to stop there, I'm afraid, for the Gillam family, because otherwise we're not going to have time for our last family from London, who are the Brightwells. And here we've got Mrs. Brightwell, Mr. Bernard Brightwell, Aline, and also Tony. And who have you got your end, Kim, on the Brightwell front?
Well, I have Mr. and Mrs. Brightwell here. Mr. Brightwell has been living in Australia for some 19 years. I understand from him that his story, he was telling me, was something like the traditional man who's known for going out for a loaf of bread and never getting back. He told me that some 19 years ago he was anxiously trying to get on a ship at short notice, and he finally went out, got so used to going out and not getting on a ship that when he went out finally, they told him to jump on as the ship was sailing, and he tells me that he left without, in fact, saying goodbye to his mother. So here he is, anyway.
Hello, Mother. And who else is there, Tim? Hello. I'd like to introduce my wife, Laurie.
Yes, here's Laurie, of course, and as Laurie is an Australian, you haven't seen her before.
Well, hello, Mother, and hello, everybody. Very late, I'm very sorry.
And Mrs. Brightwell, this end would just like to say something. Yes, Mrs. Brightwell.
Oh, yes. Do I speak to Laurie?
You can speak to whoever you want.
Oh, Les, it's lovely to see you again after all these years now. And Laurie, thank you so much for your lovely letters you send me. So descriptive.
I'm sorry we don't write more.
Still talking, just
sorry.
appropriate.
I'm sorry we don't write more often, but my husband makes me work too hard.
Oh, Les.
Hello, Les. Hello, Laurie. This is Bernard.
Well, Mother, we'd like to wish you a happy Christmas. We'd like to wish you a happy Christmas and a Merry Christmas. We wish we were there with you so that we could enjoy it with you, but we'll be with you in spirit. We love Australia. We're really now Australians, but one day we might get home.
And Bernard Brightwell would just like to send a message to you, Laurie, if that's all right.
Hello, Laurie. It's nice to see you. This is the first time I've ever seen and we've spoken to each other. It's great, isn't it?
How are you, Bernard? It's good to hear your voice anyway.
Yeah. I'm sorry that Annalise and Eric couldn't be here. Eric's got an examination this morning, today, so I didn't want to get him up so early in the morning. As you know, we had to get up about 4 o'clock.
They had to get up at 4 o'clock.
Oh, I feel dreadful about that, I really do. Especially in the cold weather.
Yeah, it is pretty cold now.
Well, it's beautiful sunny weather here. I bet it's pretty cold in London at the moment.
Yes, Les,
you want to take a trip over here?
Yes, Les, you're making me very jealous. I think I'll have to come over pretty soon. Eric said he will be coming over as soon as his mother wins the football balls.
Yes, well, we'll look forward to that happening, Bernard Brightwell, if that's all right, and winning the football balls in particular. But that's as much as we have time for amongst the family messages between here and Carnarvon. And now back to you, Kim, in Carnarvon for the rest of the programme.
Good. Well, we'd like to, before we finish the programme, just give you a further indication of this part of the world. And I would like to say that, although we have mentioned earlier that this is rather an isolated place, even to some Australians, it's worth remembering that it plays an important part in providing services for other parts of Australia which are even more remote than this, as we hear now from Peter Pockley.
Well, the people here in the town, they've got the services of good town. But the people in the outback just couldn't get along without aircraft. And the special services which are provided from Carnarvon, like the Royal Flying Doctor Service, you've probably heard of. But a more unique service from here is that of the Flying Padre, the Reverend John McCann of the Australian Inland Mission. And he serves the people in an area 3 times the size of Great Britain.
Yes, Peter, there are about 1,000 people in this area, and I regularly fly out and visit them. Actually, I was out last week visiting an English couple and baptised their child. They're on a station about 300 miles east of here, and it's interesting the distances. You know, they're 300 miles from the nearest doctor, 200 miles from the nearest store. Now, there's no loneliness out there, no loneliness as most people know it. There they have social events such as this baptism and football matches. They get together, and also, of course, every day they can talk to each other from station to station on the Flying Doctor pedal.
And the Flying Doctor pedal is the means of communication, but it's also the means by which they are actually able to get to
Well, there we are. I'm afraid we've lost the satellite. The satellite waits for no one, ladies and gentlemen. So there, a few minutes, television has added a new string to the historical ties which bind Britain and Australia. Rather moving moments of television, I think, and surely moments which made a good deal more sense of those ties. People like us, new babies, new wives, new families, thank you all very much. Now next year, the new ground station, specially built for television, will come into service, and it will be possible to receive pictures and sound of a far better quality, as well as exchanging live programs with the regular Australian networks. But of hazy glimpses, interrupted conversations like those we've had this morning is the history of television made. To you in Australia, good afternoon, have a good weekend, make the most of that lovely weather, as we here in London say to each other good morning with the prospect of a further day's work ahead of us.